Hey guys, it's Jamie. I got another stack of layouts to share with you before I put them away. Let's get started. This is a geometric heart. I have seen these all over the place and I was excited to try one. I used an old Echo Park collection. This is documenting another birth of another nephew. And I thought these colors were really kind of fun for a baby layout, though non-traditional. But I stitched in between the pieces of that geometric heart and then embellished with a bunch of different things just from my stash. I really love these mustache glasses. They're a puffy sticker from Michael's. Aren't they adorable? This layout just documents my love of my dad's laugh. I think he just has the best laugh. I had seen another layout where they had layered strips of paper and mixed in a few little border punches and really liked that effect, wanted to try it. This uses the Imagine That collection for boys from Echo Park. I do have kind of some hidden journaling behind there, just again documenting my love of my dad's laugh. But I was also excited. I have had these freckled fawn brads in my stash forever, and they coordinated really well with this collection from Echo Park, so it was pretty fun to get those used up. And again, I really like the way that those kind of stacked together. This one is a paper pad from Crepe Paper and Maggie Holmes. I painted a couple little wood veneer pieces to match the collection. I used an old doily, layered all that together. This was a sketch. I think it was, maybe I don't. I think it was Laura Whitaker. Sorry, that took forever to get out. This one I know was a Laura Whitaker sketch, and I thought this one turned out kind of fun. This leaf cut file is a free one from Paper Issues, and then I just backed that with some bright colored papers from an American Crafts 6x6 paper pad and used some embellishments from my stash. I know that this wood veneer is a Heidi Swap one. This is the oldest paper probably in my collection. I don't even know when it was from, early 2000s, at least that old. But it is 3 Bugs in a Rug. And I fussy cut some of the dinosaurs from the other half of this paper and used those as embellishment. And then this was another sketch I followed, but I do not recall who that was from. I do think on my Instagram I may have linked that and you can see the sketch. I'll link my Instagram account below if you're interested. But I did use a couple of like Kiwi templates that I hardly ever use anymore, so I don't know. It's always fun to use up some older stuff from your stash. This is another one using that Imagine That for Boys collection, and just kind of tells a funny story about my little nephew going down the hillside in the middle of an inner tube. I did do some hidden journaling there, and then something I've been doing for the last probably year and a half is linking videos to my layouts using a QR code generator. I like the interactive element that adds, and also the video I just think adds to tell your story, and that's been pretty fun. But this was a scrap lift, and I don't remember who, but they had lined up the triangles the same way, and I just thought that looked so sharp, so I wanted to try doing that as well. And I thought it came out pretty fun. This is a design I have used multiple times, and I don't remember if it was a sketch or a layout, but I know it came from Victoria Marie, just this kind of grid layout with the 6 3x4s. And again, it's a design I've used multiple times, but I was getting to the end of a 6x6 pad from Crepe Paper, That Cute Girl, and I used that for some of the backs, but then I just used a bunch of the scraps and kind of layered them up to make these borders here. And then my little llama was from the Silhouette store. And again, I linked a video there of sweet little Brookie feeding that llama. This one is an 8.5 by 11. I used up some stash for this as well. Dang, I cannot remember what brand paper this was, but I remember I loved it. It was like, there was like a whole line that were, I don't know, they almost look like wallpapers. But anyway, I've had this in my stash for a really long time, but it coordinated perfectly with this old Amy Tan ephemera. So got some of that used up, and just showing a big picture of my family, all my brothers and sisters and their kids. My little brother had just gotten home from a mission he served in Peru for our church, and had brought us all these souvenirs, including these chuyus. So we all put those on, posed for a picture. This one is a cut file from Ashley Horton at the Cut Shop. And I just backed it with some crepe paper, and then added some machine stitching to really give it that quilted look. I used some thickers from American Crafts, and then these other glittery stickers here were from Freckled Fawn. And I just found a pink Copic and colored these. These were all originally silver. So that was kind of a fun way to change it up and make it work a little nicer for my layout. Layered a couple of doilies and some ephemera there. This was so cute. This is my husband and our little niece. She started snuggling him, and he's like, take a picture, take a picture. So of course had to document that. This is another cut file. I think this one is also from the Cut Shop. And I just took and cut that out and then folded the leaves back. And so that just shows the other side of this pattern paper. This is from an Echo Park collection, family something or other. Sorry, I don't remember the exact name. And then used up some cork embellishments from my stash. This was a play with mixed media. Again, that's not really my specialty, but it is fun to do now and then. So put down some gesso on a white piece of cardstock, and then in quadrants, ink smushed down some different colors, and then I used a bubble stencil and some texture paste to add some little bubbles to reinforce kind of the theme of the pictures there. And then just found coordinating embellishments from all sorts of places to embellish in the quadrants. A lot of them are fussy cut papers that matched the color again. And then these little kind of holographic swirls were a double-sided sticker from Doodlebug, and they were initially meant to be used with like their glitters and flocking powders, but the way that I have been using them recently is with foil, and I just take and put the foil over one of the sticky sides and then run it through my Big Shot with some foam just to help it adhere really well to that foil, and then pull it out. And then I cut out my title with a font from Lawn Fawn, and that's on foam. And then this holographic foil paper is a stack from Michaels, their Craftsmith brand. And then backed it on another piece of paper from that same holographic stack from Michaels. Another 8.5 by 11. I used to scrap only 8.5 by 11, and so when I scrap older pictures from that time, I always scrap them in 8.5 by 11. I don't scrap chronologically, but I store my layouts chronologically, so in order to make them fit in those albums, I've got to scrap them in 8.5 by 11. But it is fun to mix things up and do things a little different now and then. Again, some older Echo Park with some stitching, a notebook punch here, and then just a couple little embellishments. And another 8.5 by 11. This is that same brother that was in the pictures for the graduation, now documenting his decision to serve a mission for our church. He went to New Mexico and Texas on a Spanish-speaking mission. This one was, I think it was a scrap lift. I don't know. But anyway, used up a bunch of just miscellaneous stuff from my stash and did the journaling on the typewriter right onto that pattern paper. This is some hand lettering that I did. It's not perfect, but it's fun to kind of mesh talents or hobbies, I guess. This one I really like. I cannot remember the name of the shop where this cut file is from, but I know I linked it on my Instagram, so if you're interested, check there. But I just think it's so pretty. And I used the spring paper kit from Echo Park's Paper Club and thought it was perfect, those colors with this cut file. And then this brick pattern paper is a stack from Recollections. It had just a bunch of different wood grains and kind of building textures, bricks and concrete, stuff like that. So they make some nice neutral backgrounds. But this was, we bought a new house not quite a year ago, but it was these pictures of the kitchen, and I told my husband I want that house, and to my surprise his response was okay, so here we are. We were lucky enough to go see Pink in concert twice, and so that's the take two. We were able to go this second time. We had really great seats the second time. The first time we had good seats, but the second time was even better. So documented a couple photos there. This is some old basic gray. Prism, I think, was the name of the collection. This polka dot paper is Bella Boulevard. No, it's Illustrated Faith. I apologize. But I thought this basic gray was kind of punk rock and worked out perfect for a layout about a concert. This, let me see, makes it darker, but the glare is gone, I think. So this just accompanies that last page about the concert. It has more pictures from the show and some journaling, and then again I've included some QR codes that document some video that we took during the show. This is confetti that came down at the end of the show. I picked some up and saved that. Of course, that's what scrappers do, right? And that flips up just to reveal pictures of the confetti coming down. So Then on the other side is pictures from my brother's wedding. He got married April of last year, and so just got some family pictures there, me and the niece. And again, this mostly uses paper from that Spring Club Echo Park paper box, and then added in some gold embellishments for my stash. This is a super old chipboard frame, and I just covered it with Versamark ink and then dipped it in gold sparkly embossing powder from Recollections to kind of make that match up. Turn that light back on. So here's the other page, just documented picture of my brother and his new bride. And this cut file was from Virginia over at Confessions of a Paper Addict. And again, the paper is from that same spring box from Club Echo Park, and just mixed in some gold glitter cardstock to that. Another concert we got to go to, and this was Garth Brooks this summer. I used this Polaroid cut file from Ashley Horton over at the Cut Shop, and thought that was kind of fun way to add multiple photos to a layout. Used up some old We Are Memory Keepers papers for this, and then some Amy Tan ephemera. And then these chipboard flowers are super old Prima I picked up at Tuesday Morning a few years ago. Did some tear outs there to show some of that paper underneath, and then a little bit of Heidi Swap texture paste through a stencil below those clusters. This is another one of those layouts where in your head it looks so much better than it actually comes out on paper. But I cut out an hexagon, there we go, from my silhouette, and then cut that into triangles. And then I did some ink smooshing underneath. I didn't use any gesso, so the paper warped pretty bad. This is the summer collection kit from the Club Echo Park, and then did more stitching, added some washi underneath, and then just a little bit of embellishing around this cute picture of my niece standing in the strawberry patch with her cute little bucket hat. So, last one, this mixed media I was much happier with than the last layout, but I did put some gesso down for this one, did some ink smushing with Distress ink, and then did some stamping and used some texture paste through a chevron stencil. Then used mostly paper and ephemera from the Imagine That collection for boys from Echo Park, and then just some miscellaneous stuff. This is like Simple Stories DIY, and I don't remember where these are from, Pink Paisley maybe, but I really liked that diagonal stripe. So I love this picture of the two nephews. They're born just a couple of weeks apart, but I think they look so cute in their little ball caps. And the title, the You've Been Farming Long, has nothing to do with the pictures, but rather this picture reminds me of a picture my grandparents had hanging in their house when I was growing up. It also had two little boys in caps and overalls looking at each other, and that's what they said in the picture. The one was asking the other, "You've been farming long?" And so I documented about that picture that I remember from my grandparents' house, and then just my adoration for these two cute little boys. So thanks for watching.